Alright, new things. We got Hockenheim. It's a thumbs up from me. It's not a track that I've actually done really any sim racing on, ever. I think there might have been one F1 game in like 2010, maybe 2011. It's the last time that I drove. Actually, no, tell a lie. The last time I drove Hockenheim, there was a W Series rig set up at Autosport like 2 years ago. Yeah, the Pro. Yeah, that's exactly the one. And I blew fastest lap around there for the weekend, and that at the last corner. Yeah, that was a good weekend. So that's the last time I've driven the track, and the time before that was maybe like 2011. So, yeah, that should be good fun. Updated new Super Late model. Cool for those interested in Super Late models. New Sonoma config. Depends how much that'll be used. I like Sonoma. Good track. Highly underrated. Maybe not the best for overtaking, but as a hot lap track, a lot of fun. Bark River. So that's a new dirt road track. It's good to sort of flesh that out for those interested in all of that. That's good to see. We also have the dirt tires on the stock cars to cover Bristol now being covered in dirt for the upcoming Cup Series race there on the 28th of March, I think it is. We have the Rallycross config added to Barcelona, which should be good, especially for those going or you know, in that sort of circle. I'm probably not going to get round to doing much RX this year, unless, you know, sort of the middle part of the year is a bit freer than I expect it to. But yeah, NDM added to 5 more cars, brand new tires added to 14. That's probably a bigger change than most people realize. Updating tire spec, I think, is what it comes down. We'll get through it. So we got new, you know, particle effects, you know, smoke and dust changes. That's good. New audio stuff and replays, cool. New pace car, excellent. For those who don't want to be running a Porsche for their events in or on road, or for whatever reason, I think it's a sedan that they've updated that with. NDM for those. Nice. Casimir, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. New tires for all of these cars, including some old content. So that's quite interesting. We also have AI updates, which is, you know, it's good for those who don't fancy the sheer carnage of online racing, and I can respect that. So some UI changes, just general fixes to that, updates to the paint shop, new sponsors, it's cool, and yeah, some more fixes on the member site. The count of iRacers online has been made more accurate, finally. Nice. Thanks for the follow. I feel like that's been inaccurate since about 2014, since I joined. I remember it working for a while and then it stopped working, one build, maybe 2015, so yay, that's fixed. Good to see. Excellent. Declare drivers. Okay, so this is quite interesting. A new data endpoint has been added for broadcasters to get the list of teams and their declared drivers. So endpoint gets subsession teams, and then the parameter you need to pass in is the subsession ID. So that's so that broadcasters know who's going to be in the car. That's pretty cool. Funny funny story. That subsession ID is one of the ways that you could have broken it into practice sessions. So I know that's sort of going back over old territory, but if you have the subsession ID, you could get in as a spectator. So that endpoint has been patched as far as I know. But that's one way that could have been done. Onto the sim, any issues? Okay, some minor fixes relating to open practice sessions. Cool. Race control. Okay, this is a good one. I like this. The method for calculating the race start pit exit delay and the mistart tow delay have been updated to account for situations in which a slower class may hang back to give themselves additional space at the start of a multi-class race. So, rip anyone wanting to do the strategy of picking a GT3 in IMSA and starting from pit and then just coming out like in behind the GTAs. So, yeah. that's been corrected. Well, hopefully. We'll obviously need to test it to see how severe that penalty is now. New pace car, as mentioned before. The sedan. We'll see what it looks like. Revamped it, yeah. Opponent cars fixed some issue with a small variety of opponent cars, including components were heavily striking curbs along beige, and some stock cars appear to be floating slightly. Okay, so I just make things look a little bit nicer in sim. Excellent. Dynamic track. This will be a big one. We'll see how this goes. Track surface dynamics have been updated to react more realistically with tyres of different compounds. So softer tyres will tend to produce a thicker layer of rubber than harder tyres. Interesting. A couple of ways that we can sort of look at this. Now I have noticed in this past build that in colder sessions that the more that the track rubbers up, the quicker it seems to get, and in a hotter track that's maybe not so much the case. Or kind of the rubber gets a little bit slick and sliding a little bit more over the surface rather than actually gripping into the tarmac. So now adding the dynamic of different tire compounds, applying different levels of rubber. Quite interesting. Hey Ricardo, welcome on in. How's it going? We've also added the ability for the server to begin transmitting dynamic track data for the next session to clients, which is designed to make session transitions more accurate and avoid large visual changes in the first few moments of the new session. Okay, it's a minor thing. It's not doesn't actually really affect us too much when it comes to, say PESC, for example. But yeah, it's good to iron out just the little issues there. Okay, yeah, team racing bug fix, cool. Dirt racing, so we've got dirt tires onto the stock cars so that we can run Bristol. I mean, bueno. I like that. AI is now added to the GT3s, cool. Now available, so we've got Hockenheim added. Fortunately, no other road circuits added. Be nice to have it for everything that we run to at PESC, but yeah. Makes it easier to practice standing starts and stuff like that. Update to the AI skill, so just stuff that I've been taught. Improved skills with those 4 cars, cool. And additional training at those 2 tracks. Excellent. Alright. Race series. So we got IMSA. Yeah, so the cars in IMSA now have IMSA specific modifications. So they're branded differently, white numbers are different, Michelin tires except for the Lambo and Ferrari. Makes sense. IMSA leaderboards. And yeah, okay, so it just makes it look more like an IMSA race whenever IMSA's running. That's cool. That's a good indicator that the tie between iRacing and IMSA is a little bit tighter. So all good on that front. NDM to the IR1. I think that's, for me personally, that's the one I'm most interested in because I might have to be driving this car this season. Let's see, the manner in which tires react to forces has been adjusted so they can handle object impacts more consistently. Yeah, so the things that we've struggled with NDM is how much damage, so a small contact might slightly knock the aero out and you're completely done for. It's not like a consistent amount of damage, or speed lost due to the damage that you've got. So I guess this is the contact on NDM is probably supposed to be a little bit more consistent now. Wheel to wheel impact should now damage both wheels appropriately rather than one car seem to always come out of the incident with more damage. Okay, that's good. Reduce the torsion bar torque applied when either wheels. Okay. Yeah, so these are all just general improvements across the board with NDM. If it works, excellent. When I say that I might have to drive the IR1 this season, is that because it's going to be a new big championship? So there's been talk of a IR01 World Championship, which we need qualified into, and the initial talk was that we'd get through 2021 season 1, iron out the issues, and then have a pro series this season upcoming. No guarantees on that. Not heard like a yes or no or even a maybe on that, but that's the general consensus. So we'll see how that goes. Populus, thanks for the follow. IR1 Pog. I'm hoping it drives well. I really do. I didn't mind it as much when it first came out. Like the first day, whenever I did drive, it was like I could roll with it. It wasn't the end of the world for me. So, and then they changed everything to suit the general, the general player base. They found it too hard to drive, and then car doesn't drive so well now. Apparently, I haven't tried it really since. Qual scrutiny. Adjustments made, particularly concerning braking, pit speeds, and optimal race line speeds. So this is to stop us brake dragging, essentially. We're just going to have to try and break it by Saturday and see if we can get something out of this, but it's unlikely. Rating, fix an issue with custom grids for hosts. Okay, cool. Hybrid deployment stuff has been changed. Rewritten slight improvements. Cool. Fix an issue with manual deployment option for hybrid. Also, it was acting in the opposite direction. Okay, cool. Rendering. Okay, so this one's quite interesting. At least I think this might fix one of the issues I've been having. Where it feels like the sky's coming through the surface and there's like tiny little dots and stuff. Maybe it's just a GPU issue on my end, but if that fixes that, excellent. Alter the non-VR driving cameras near clip from 10 to 2. Okay, cool. Tire smoke and dust cloud effects have been substantially upgraded. Nice. Excellent. Tom, thanks for follow. Appreciate it. Hey, Camille. Welcome on in. I wonder how severe this is. Nice. Dan, thanks for follow. So if there's like a massive pile up into T1, are we really going to be able to see absolutely nothing now? Can we change that with like graphic settings or particle settings or stuff like that? If it's really severe, yeah, we'll see. Audio updates, lots of audio updates. Oh boy. I'm not going to go through all of this. It's not going to change an awful lot for me. Some stuff here for broadcast, for like different effects you can have with that, which is pretty cool. Alright, control changes. Large has been added only to trigger toggle variable if the value is changed. Cool. Virtual mirror size, you can make that larger or smaller. Cool. Support has been added for mapping a second throttle and brake input to match the second clutch input. Interesting. This can be useful when using hand controls to guide two paddles together so both operate brake or throttle, or to combine a handbrake with an analog paddle on the wheel rim. I'm going to call this the Robert Wickens update. For just hand controls across the board. So that's cool. In what way? For the rest of us to use that should be interesting. I don't know whether people are going to map throttle 2 and clutch 2 to like specific start procedures or something like that. And before that gives you more speed. Yeah, you press throttle 1 and throttle 2 down, you get 200% throttle and you go twice the speed. So yeah, that's quite interesting. It gives you a lot more flexibility. Yeah, interesting. I think that might be useful for start procedures, for launches off the line and stuff. That's kind of my initial thought on that, but obviously would need tested. Xbox pad plugged in, yeah, and before new, yeah, exactly. Hopefully this isn't super exploitable, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. New FFB stuff, okay. Updates to essentially stop us from ripping our hands to shreds anytime that we crash hard. Default systems enabled. We'll have to just double check that this doesn't disturb drive. So like if you have your FFB set up to clip, or like be really close to clipping, that it doesn't like do weird stuff if you hit a curb or something like that. Yeah, we'll need to test that, but that sounds good. Spectators. Let's see about this, because this has been a contentious topic in the last 10 days or so. Option for spectators to be able to access the in-sim start-stop spotting. Allow spectators to view the live car positions they are spotting for a team that does not make them a team member. Oh, this might happen if the team does not want the potential spotter to see their car setup. Cool. Telemetry warnings for oil and... Okay, cool. Oh, might need to just make sure that that isn't... Okay, it's set at 0. Okay. Otherwise we'll get yelled at by Tyler for having our telemetry split up into chunks. Someone at Jack Sedgwick on that one. Poor guy. Alright, car updates. Oh man, I've been recording for nearly 40 minutes and I'm only just getting into cars now. Arca NDM update, cool. Aston GT1 tyre update and some suspension. Okay, cool. GTO tyre update, backfire effects, setups, cool. Setups updated, cool. Okay, first one that actually applies to me that I will care about because I do packs for this. Audi R8 LMS. Some vehicle parameters have been updated, including... I hate when they say this because it implies that there's more than this, but we'll say it's this for now. Aerodynamic downforce has been reduced slightly. I know the reasons why. That's there, and it's not for the Lambo, but there we go. But the big one, toe adjustment increments and limits have been updated, so no more toe out on the rear, I think is what we've ended up with here. That is the same for the rest of the GT3s, so toe adjustment. Where's the Ferrari? Toe adjustment. Toe adjustment. And toe adjustment. Oh. Mazda and Mercedes. Mercedes is the only one that's like majorly different this season, but yeah. Gone are the days that we just glued the arse end of the car to the ground and just make it rotate with as much as much rear toe out as we can literally stick on it. So it will be interesting though to see how that affects the BOP, because not all negative rear toe is equal. It works better on some cars than others, and different values work better on some cars than others. So just taking it away completely is interesting. We shall see how it goes. Looks at Audi, yeah, I know. And before, like, I'm doing packs for cars that just are completely uncompetitive this season. I don't think it'll be that bad. We'll get a rotation back in other ways, but time will tell. Audi TCR, NDM change, and issue with sway bar arm lengths. I remember George actually talking about that, saying that the things were a bit weird there. You got the 488 GT3? Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it should be good. M4 GT3, covered that basically. Tire changes on the GT4. People have been saying that the GT4, just with test drive, drives really well now, so that's good to see. Ride height changed, camber limits, fuel changes, tire pressure changes, and pit stops have all been changed. Suspension parameters have been changed. So apparently it drives more like a car now and not this floating boat. Someone said the anti-roll bar option for... Yeah, I heard that too. Still GT4, but it's better. Well, it's a good thing to say though. NDM nose and rear are now more resistant to visual scrape effects. Cool. Corvette has probably had the same updates as the DB9. Yeah, pretty much. An actual oil change in there, but that's fine. Corvette tire update. Now, when it says tire spec has been updated, as it does for many cars, we don't know exactly what that means. Are we into a new tire model version? So, you know, NTM 8, 9, 9.3, 9.1.0, 0.4, 0.6, you know, who knows. I know iRacing have got away with like stating that, but I mean, under the hood, it's still going to be tire model changes, right? So, yeah. That's been updated for the DP. Don't know why, but hey ho. The Chevy SS updates there, cool. IR1, we'll skip down to that. After exit, yeah, okay, that does make sense. NDM added to the IR1, windshield mirrors have been adjusted, made bigger and moved forward and up slightly. Cool, be able to see more. Vehicle parameters have been updated, including single car and in-traffic aerodynamic profiles have been updated. Aerodynamic offsets for wing positions have been updated. Gear stack and shifting parameters have been updated. Clutch plate thickness and slip temperatures have been updated. Tire, fuel, and pits have all been updated. Zach has given his view that car is POG now, so go drive it, it should be great. If it's not, blame him entirely for it not being POG. So, hashtag blame Zach. There. Just spam that. It's probably for standing starts. Yeah, I agree. IR18 has been updated in a sort of similar way with the NDM. That's good. Yeah, that looks good. The black tire, as opposed to the red walled tire, compound has been increased. I guess that means that you're just not running the reds just across the board then. Overall tire grip short track oil has been reduced. Okay, cool. Temperature control for tires while its speed-wise has been updated. I wonder how that affects guys for the 500. Cool. Dirt stuff, I'm kind of just going to skim through because I'm not into dirt. It's not my thing. Zach, blame it. I like it. So the Ferrari we covered, just toe changes, and then the setup's been updated. GTA. Alright, so the BOP, I guess, for GTA. Did I miss the M8? Okay, no, there's nothing for the M8. Cool. So the Ferrari GTA aero drag's been increased slightly, and the diff ramp angle options have also been added to allow all GT cars to have the same ramps available. Cool. The Ford GTA aero drag has been decreased slightly, so that's to bring the Ferrari more in line with the Ford. Cool. Ford changes, GT2, tough. I noticed that the GT3 actually where the front tires protrude through the fenders under compression. For the GT3, oh sorry, that was before last build, that was the build before. Toe adjustment for the GT3, cool. NDM for the Formula Renault, updated tire for the HPD. Indy Pro, big changes to that. So Pete's going to be busy trying to get up to date with that. Lambo adjustments, so same toe adjustments as that we've gone through. Some graphic changes, so steering wheel logo is updated, rear ID light has been removed. In-car sound's been improved with slightly reduced intake hiss at higher RPM. Okay, cool, sounds good. Pro 2 setups updated, cool. Okay, so BOP wise for GT3, what we have is the Macca and the Audi have had slight downforce changes, everything else is stayed the same, which I think is probably the right move. I didn't think that the Audi and Lambo were particularly dissimilar, but yeah, we'll see. For the last like 4 or 5 weeks, I was extremely close in the Audi and the Lambo, to the point where I probably wouldn't have BOP'd them, but iRacing have the data, and they say that a small change needed to be made, so small changes made. McLaren I did think was probably overall the best car post mid-season patch, so yeah, to bring it slightly more in line, and hopefully the Merc becomes more viable. The engine braking has been reduced slightly to help settle the rear of the car on trail braking, which was a problem with it. Should be fine now. High-speed suspension damping has been updated to improve grip and platform control for curb strikes at bumpy circuits. Again, it really sucked. Really, really sucked at the really bumpy tracks. Like it was miles off at a track like Belle Isle, for example. So I think the toe change is good for the Macca. I won't say good for the Macca. I didn't run a lot of toe out on the rear in the Macca. A little bit, but not much. Not as much as I did in the Audi and Lambo. Or the Ferrari. Just didn't feel like it needed it. Yeah, so those three cars will be hit more. Which makes sense then to give the Macca a hit, because whilst yes you could chuck some on, I really didn't use that much on it. I didn't think it needed it. You could get rotation from plenty of other ways without having to jack the rear end way up in the air. Fuel consumption to cater for the engine braking change and a diff change. Okay, so hopefully the Merc becomes more competitive. I actually went back and I tried the Merc last week. It's really not that bad on a smooth track and where there's only like the odd bump to sort of have to clear. But yeah, at a track with any real set of bumps to deal with, or not a particularly smooth track surface, it was completely hopeless. So hopefully that's been corrected. NASCAR stuff I'm going to sort of skim through. Kind of cover that with the fact that they got dirt tires added to them, or available to be added to them. I guess people now are going to take the NASCAR Cup cars to like Wild West and the new what's the name of the track? I'm really bad at this. Bark River, yeah. So Bark River in the Cup car might be fun. Who knows? Yeah, sorry for shorting up and down. Nissan GTB's had suspension updated, off-throttle backfire, and yeah, okay, minor stuff. Porsche came in, same sort of updates, I guess, as the M4 GT4. Yeah, plenty of changes here. So tire completely changed. IMSA changes for the Cayman. So same ride height, camber, fuel, pressures and pit stop procedures changed. Suspension parameters changed. Rear toe has been changed. Rear wing range has been adjusted. NDM has been changed. So that's a big change. Alright, so the 911 GT3 Cup car. Clutch wear and overheating has been added, so the clutch may not be slipped aggressively without affecting its function. So I tried this before I went live. And the old starting strategy of grab first gear, clutch in, full throttle, full brake, and then slip onto a bike point and just hold it, those days are done. It's gone. Finished. We try that and hold the clutch for like a handful of seconds. I haven't timed it, but no. Your car will not move, and if you overdo it and you burn out the clutch so badly, it doesn't come back. Your car's done. Finished at that point. It just doesn't cool down and become useful again. Does it affect brake dragging? Yes, because we use the clutch to maintain our set of revs so that we can put our load through the rear tires. So that's been kind of killed and nuked. Plus, as mentioned earlier, the qual scrutiny's been updated to try and cover that. So hopefully that kills that dead. That's not going to stop us from trying to work out something by Saturday, and you can bet we're going to try to work this out by Saturday. But if there's nothing to work out, then there's nothing to work out. Wonder whether they only killed it on the P-Cup car. Well, they wanted to make sure that it works on this so that we're not breaking the sim in PESC, and the broadcast sort of looks a bit iffy when you just have to look at Brian Lockwood for 3 minutes at the start of each qualifying session as we're all sitting just whop up 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 up. Just generating absurd amounts of energy and heat through the tires. Has there been anything about cooling tires by running on the grass? Nothing about that. And that's in a cruel twist, that's entirely our fault that that's a thing, because we were the first ones to find that. We found that out like the day before Brands last year, and not as a tire warming thing, but as a tire cooling thing, and now races are littered with it. How are we doing a race start now? Yeah, almost as if they should have banned it. Well, they banned it from PES, but just didn't ban it from official races. So yeah, that's tough. How are we doing race starts now? traditional methods, at least for now. Throttle, full clutch, and then slip to bite point, and then try and get off the clutch before it burns out. I'm sure we'll find other ways of doing it. Back on track ever so slightly. Oh, sorry, rear collision parameters being improved to prevent tailing cars from driving underneath the vehicle. That's a big one. So everyone took a look at Montreal and seen how many people got tipped around at the hairpin and at turn 2. This should hopefully fix that. Because basically the rear of the Porsche Cup car seemed so high in the air and the nose so low that it just acted as a scoop. And the cars just got, you know, even with the slightest touch, the back wheels basically got pushed off the ground. And if you've got any steering lock put in, then you just go straight around. So I hope that that fixes that. The RSR aerodynamic downforce has been reduced slightly. Okay. So I'm guessing from GT BOP that the Ferrari and the Porsche have been the more dominant cars. That should bring them more in line. Radicals got updated with some suspension diff and backfire adjustments. Cool. Spec forward's been setup updated. Yes. Delighted to see that. No, I'm kidding. No idea. I haven't driven that car in years now. Silver Crown, Sprint Car, Street Stock, not super interested. Supercars been updated, so looks good. Aero downforce has been reduced significantly. Significant? It's rare that iRacing used significantly in one of these. So that's a big change for those. And then forcing ride heights to be in a certain window. Okay. Super late model fully rebuilt into 2021 spec. I hope that this thing drives amazingly at somewhere like Oulton Park. That's all I'm interested in. USF 2000 has been updated. Okay, so hopefully it drives a lot better. So side force center pressure has been moved rearward to mitigate snap oversteer. Our calculation has been added back into the garage. Downforce loss in draft has been adjusted with the aim to improve oval racing, so that should make things tighter. You know, or at least closer pack racing. That's my best guess. Dirty air and USF's terrible. Okay, so yeah, that should tidy that up a little bit. Number of available rear wing settings has been reduced to eliminate a number of options that have counterintuitive performance. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't driven the car aside from playing with it when it first came out, so I don't know, but could be useful. Brake system has been updated. That's quite vague. Is that like a... what is that? Do we have like different cylinders or something like that? Counterintuitive performance means that high angles just all the way. Okay, cool. Yeah. Alright, that makes sense there. Low speed suspension damping has been reduced. And the M changes, cool. Finally, the Williams F2031 is not pushed back into legacy content, which is interesting. So that's still going. Rolling tire height has been reduced to avoid overheating in high-speed tracks. I promise you, I will not check that out to see if that's true. Where's that? Oh yeah, tracks. Right, tracks, cool. Ovals, track surface properties have been adjusted. I assume this is to try and make multiple lines and grooves work. If so, excellent. Because oval racing has been sorely lacking that sort of dynamic racing line activity thing, whatever. Multi-groove racing. There we go. Everything's just been run the fastest line and just stick with it the entire race and nothing else comes in, so hopefully that changes it. Bark River, so that's been included, that's cool. Bristol Dirt config, again, that's really cool. Oh, I did get the date right, sorry, yeah, March 28th. Yeah, that'll be fun to watch. I wanted to keep that because that was only implemented for the road course race that they ran a couple of weeks ago. So we'll see how that goes. Hockenheim. The one piece of new content that I am genuinely excited for. Because it's a good track, I quite like it. Because it's an early Tilke creation, not a later Tilke creation. His early stuff's good and enjoyable. The racing stuff, not so much. So 6 different configs, GP, national layouts. Yeah, the outer layout just basically cuts out the Mercedes arena section, like the first arena section on the lap. So after the hairpin, it's just a dead straight run back into the main stadium section. And I noticed with the special events calendar that the IR01 German Grand Prix race was on the outer layout, not the GP layout. I wonder if that'll change. Oval, yeah, more track surface properties updated. Camera updates, track surface, camera. We have Road Atlanta texture updates, so hopefully that makes it look nice and pretty. Similar to the update that they had for Road America, the last build or the build before. I think it's a couple of builds now. Minor updates to Sebring. I wonder if that pit wall, the one as you're coming down into T1, and there's that little kink that like maybe they'll fix that, where it doesn't like just pitch you into your roof if you get too close to it. I don't know. We'll see. Sonoma. So we have the 2012 to 2018 IndyCar layout. I can't actually remember watching any of those races, so those more immersed in IndyCar will know exactly what this layout is, but you know, it's cool that they've added that in. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, not in terms of content, at least for a road guide, not a huge thing, but it seems like a lot of fixes there. I'm most interested in Cup car stuff because I'm still running PESC at the minute. So yeah, that's a tricky one. Trying to sort of get on top of that by Saturday. Rest of stuff looks good. Step in the right direction. This is more of a push things down the road and make things a little bit better. And then we may get more higher profile content, if that makes sense. Like in terms of brand new stuff. Like Hockenheim's still big, of course. But last build had more content. Road TLDR, Hockenheim and GT3 AI. Pretty much. Well, the Porsche Cup car is a big change. And the brake dragging stuff. So if iRacing isn't back up, which it isn't, I've covered everything that I want to cover here. So I'll probably kill the stream here. Thanks everyone for dropping by. Do enjoy the new content and new build. We'll have new stuff out for the Academy Sunday evening, all being well. So that'll be good. New stuff ready for the new week. So a bit tight squeeze getting everything done, but we'll all get there.